Welcome back, YouTube. I hope you are all having a great day. Let's begin our next challenge, level 24. For this level, a daemon, which is a program running in the background, is listening on port 30002 and will give us the password for Bandit 25 if given the password for Bandit 24 and a secret numeric 4-digit pin code. There is no way to retrieve the pin code except by going through all of the 10,000 combinations, which is called brute forcing. They also indicate that we don't need to create new connections each time. Let's head over to the terminal. We first want to have our current password available. I store this locally. Next, let's see what happens if we create a connection to port 30002 on localhost, which is where the daemon is listening. We will use the nc command like we did in a past level. The description here is I am the pin code checker for user Bandit25. Please enter the password for user Bandit24 and the secret pin code on a single line, separated by a space. I took too long to enter a password, but now at least we know how to format our input. So our password, a space, and a 4-digit password. Okay, we try again. Okay, so we won't insert all 10,000 possibilities manually. We will write a program for this. So let's head over to the second terminal. Again, this is to make it easier and more clear to explain. We will make a directory inside of /temp. We can name this directory anything we want. I'll name it code with T for level 24. We change into this directory. We will first write a shell script, and then I'll give you a second option to solve this level with a Python script. So first, let's use the Vim editor for our shell file, which we can name anything we want again. I'll name it file.sh. We hit I to insert. We specify our interpreter, which will be, in our case, bin bash. Now, shell and bash are used interchangeably a lot of times, but there is actually a technical difference. Shell is the language of terminal commands, and we have the corresponding interpreter sh, which is mostly located here. But almost always we will use bash as an interpreter, since bash provides extended functionality besides the normal sh interpreter, which we will make use of later on. So let's begin. We want to store our password in a variable. Next, we want to create a for loop to loop through all the 10,000 code possibilities. This is the framework of our for loop. So for a code combination in the range of 0 to 10,000, which we will write like this. Here we use the bash extension to provide a range of codes. And for every code in this range, we want to print the password, a space, and then the code, which we'll do like this. Now, we store values in variables like this, but to read them, we need to specify a $sign in front of them. Same with the code variable. And now we will use a pipeline and then send all this input to localhost. And this is our shell script. Now, technically, you could have written it like this, but in my opinion, it's more clear to write it like this. So here we will have 10,000 lines of password with each their respective code. We will send all this input to our localhost connection. To exit, we hit the escape button. We hit colon, W to write, and Q to quit. And now we have our file available. We need to add execution permissions for ourselves. And now we want to execute it. And we successfully obtained our password. Now, this program should have executed 10,000 lines. But this is not 10,000. Apparently, the daemon was instructed to close our connection after we had submitted the right code. Now, this is a lot of output. Imagine if there was even more, but we didn't know where to find our password. We only knew what the wrong response was. So we could search for anything that didn't match this, which we will do by using the grep command. We want to use an inverse search. We can do that by specifying the -v option to select non-matching lines. Again, we will execute our file, and then we will only want to match lines that don't match this. We specify the v option, and this is how we do it. Now we have our password, but we still don't know which code generated this correct response. Personally, I would like to know. So let's figure it out. Now there is no easy way. We first print all of our codes. Then we send them to the server, and only after that will we have the response. So we don't know which of these has generated the correct response. If we don't want to create a new connection every time, which is very time consuming, we'll figure it out in the following way. So we want to execute our file and send it to an output file. So in this output file, we know that every line like this stands for one trial, but didn't succeed. So if we count all of these lines in the file, we should know that the next one is the correct code. We'll use the wc command for this. Wc prints new lines, words, and byte count for each file. But we only want the lines, so we'll use the -l option. So there are 416 lines of wrong. Please enter a correct pin code and try again. So we need to note that the first one is quadruple 0. So technically we need to do -1. So the code quadruple 0 until 0415 is wrong. And then the next one, which is 416, should be the right one. So let's try this. And we got the correct code. So now we figured out our password using a shell script. Next, let's try with a Python script. Again, we create a new Python file. To know the Python interpreter, we will use the which command, which locates a command. In our case, we will use Python 3, so this will be the location of our Python 3 interpreter. We hit I to enter insert mode, specify our interpreter, we store our password, and then for Now the Python range will execute anything up until this -1. Then we want to print our password, a space, and the code. But in case the code is not 4 digits long, we want to fill it with zeros, which we'll do like this. And 4, because we want a 4-digit code. Now, creating a connection is way easier in shell, so we'll do that on the command line. Don't forget to change your permissions of this Python file. We execute it. This should print 10,000 lines, but apparently it only executed 1,000. Because I indicated 1,000, I want 10,000. Okay, so we execute it again. And then let's immediately send it to the 30,002 port. And we successfully obtained our password with a Python script. Now let's log out and register our completion. To log out, we either type logout, exit, or hit Ctrl D. We successfully logged in. To register our completion of level 24, we type the reshell command. Everything is successfully synchronized. Let's head over to the reshell website to verify. We update. Congratulations on completing level 24. You rock! Thank you for watching this video. Please show your support and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep up to date with our next achievements.